Castries Central MP and Housing Minister Richard Frederick urged unauthorized vendors to refrain from setting up stalls, citing public health concerns and visual unattractiveness. He referenced his prior initiative of constructing designated booths in the capital during Monday's pre-cabinet media briefing.
But I want to tell vendors again to please discontinue the practice of putting up things all over the place. The reason I started the vending booths, I could never forget, in 2007, I was the Minister of Physical Development and the District Rep for Castries Central. And I almost cut my face whilst walking by the Ave Maria School with a piece of steel that was protruding, which a vendor had left there. I started building the vending booths because I realized I could not send them on the streets.
Frederick also called out the merchants for vending in multiple places inappropriately.
Persons do whatever they do on their own volition, on their own accord, and expect it to be embraced by all and sundry. This cannot be right. And I could tell you, without mentioning names, there are a few vendors I know personally who occupy booths around the place. Okay? They are tardy on their payments. They owe city council a lot of money. They leave the booths with their children and then they take trays and go elsewhere. This cannot be right. It cannot be right.
The Castries Central MP alleged that the previous government had relocated vendors without any notice. He stressed the need for compromise for all the parties involved when handling the vending issue in the city.
As I remember, it brought to mind what the last administration had done to the vendors on 2 consecutive Mother's Day. Took all their stuff and went and dumped it at Masha. I don't know if some of you remember that. They used to, if guys were vending in carts, they would take the cart or take the trolley, just take everything, confiscate everything. I don't think this is right. I believe we cannot arrive at a compromise. There are competing interests invariably. You have the interest of the vendors. They have a right to survive. You have the interest of business owners who have a right to use their property unimpeded. And of course, the pedestrians have a right to use the sidewalk.
To address Castries' vending concerns, the government is installing vendor booths or an arcade structure.
The vendors who unfortunately make an eyesore of the city, I don't think it's their intention, but invariably that is what happens on a Sunday when you walk the city and you realize that they leave their tools of trade hanging about. You come to the realization that, look, we can do better as a people. So in compromise, he has asked me to almost immediately start construction of some vending booths in that parking lot. And I could tell you they started. He has also asked me to rejuvenate or rehabilitate Bido Park, and that already is being worked on as well. So we shall be building some vending booths there to ensure that there is somebody who sells right at the junction there by the printery under the almond tree. It's an eyesore.
This initiative stems from a city improvement walkthrough by Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre and the Castries Central MP, addressing the challenge of rising vendor demand amidst limited space availability. Joachim Du Plessis, HTS News Force.